In this video we are going to look at how to create nested grids. The goal is that when we update an item in the grid of our custom manager page, we have another grid in the update window that allows to manage related objects. The database structure for this tutorial looks like this. There are two tables: office and employee. An office has several employees. An employee belongs to exactly one office. This is the corresponding MODX schema. In the package My Company there are the two classes My Company Office and My Company Employee. The field office_ID is the foreign key for the relationship between the tables. The relationships have the aliases employees and office. In the manager, I already created a standard MIGX configuration for the office class. There is a menu item with these settings for the custom manager page. The CMP currently looks like this. We want to add a nested grid to the update window to manage the employees of an office. For that, we create another MIGX config for the nested class. Under Extras, MIGX, add a new item. Give it the name Employee, and set the field unique MIGX ID to the same value. In the tab MIGXdb settings, set the field package to My Company and the field class name to My Company Employee. The next settings are important to make everything work. Scroll down and verify that the drop-down check resource is set to yes. This ensures that the nested grid only shows the subset of rows that relates to the currently edited office. In the field join alias, enter the alias of the relationship from the schema. In this case it's office, the alias of the relationship from the employee class to the office class. Set the value of the combo box has extra connection table to no. The rest of the settings in this configuration is the standard stuff. We add an action button to add new items and some context menu options. In the Columns tab, we add the obligatory column for the ID. And other columns for name and job title. In Form tabs, we add fields to the update window. Save and close the config. We now have to update the office configuration to show the grid. In the tab Form tabs we add a new field. We leave the field name empty and enter a value for the caption. We set the field input TV type to MIGXdb. Then in configs, we enter the name of the MIGX configuration for the employees we just now created. Save the changes. Then go to the Custom Manager page. When we edit an office row now, there is a Load Grid button in the window. Clicking the button shows a grid for the employees where we can enter new data. When we save an employee, the value for the foreign key column office_ID gets automatically filled in. We can change the configuration to get rid of the Load Grid button. In the config employee, go to the tab MIGXdb settings and set the value of the load grid drop-down to auto. Now the nested grid gets displayed without clicking a button. There are some caveats with nested grids. When you create a new office, you can't fill in the employees immediately. You have to save the record first. The code needs the correct ID for the office to save an employee, but this ID doesn't exist until the office is saved. The other caveat concerns the point in time when changes are stored. Changes to the employees get immediately saved to the database. Even if you don't click the Save button for the Office window, changes made to the nested employees persist. To output the data on the front end, we can again use the snippet MIGX loop collection. We set the property package name to My Company and the class name to My Company Office, so that the snippet loops over all offices. Then we define how the rows should be sorted and the name of a template chunk for every row. Let's create this chunk. In the chunk, we can use placeholders for the fields of the office class. But to output the employees for this office, we need another call to MIGX loop collection. This time the class name is My Company Employee. Then we have to add a where property, to restrict the output to the employees of the current office. Only employees where the field office_ID is equal to the ID of this office, get returned by the snippet. In this snippet call, we use an inline template for the TPL property to keep things simple. Save the snippet, go back to the resource and click the View button to check the output. To output the data with a custom snippet, create a new snippet Get Offices. We use the same code template we used in previous videos. First we add the custom package My Company. Then we define the default value of the TPL property. We create a new XPDO query for the class My Company Office. We tell the query to first sort by the city column of the office table, and then by the name of the employee. To receive the data we use the function getCollectionGraph, to get all the data with only one database query. We request all the rows from the class My Company Office, and add the graph as the second parameter. The value employees is the relationship alias from the schema, that connects the office class to the employee class. In the loop, we can use the method getMany to get an array of all the related employees for the current office item. We loop over the array to construct a string with HTML markup for the employees. We add this string to the array of office fields with the key employees, so that it can be used as a placeholder in the chunk TPL office. Save the snippet. Then open the chunk TPL office. Replace the snippet tag with the placeholder employees we added in the custom snippet. Save the chunk and open the resource Our Offices. Replace the snippet call in the content with a call to the custom snippet Get Offices. Save the resource, click the View button and check if the front-end output is correct. In the second example, we use a nested MIGX grid instead of MIGXdb. This time we only have one table for the offices. The data for the nested MIGX grid will be stored as JSON in the column Employees. In our schema, we delete the object for the employee class. We also delete the relationship and add a new column Employees with the DB type text or medium text. Then in the manager, recreate the class files and the database table. In the MIGX management, we create a new MIGX configuration for the employees. As before, we give it the name employee. This is a normal MIGX config. So there is no need to fill in values in the tab MIGXdb settings. The only thing we have to do is to create the fields and columns for name and job title. The next thing to do is to adjust the office configuration. In the tab Form tabs, we edit the field Employees. We set the field name to the name of the database column. We change the input TV type to MIGX. Then we make sure the name of the configuration in the field configs is still correct. We save the changes and go to the Custom Manager page. In the Update window, we can see the nested grid and we can start adding some data. When we look at our custom database table in phpMyAdmin, we can see that the data is stored as JSON in the field Employees. To output the data on the front end, we can again use the same call to MIGX loop collection as before. Viewing the page, we can see that the employees' data is output as JSON. To change that, we have to adjust the chunk TPL office that is used for each row. In the chunk we replace the employees placeholder with a call to the snippet getImageList. We set the property value to the placeholder with the JSON data. Then we define an inline template with the TPL property. After saving the changes, we go back to the resource to check the output again.